I really asked myself the question, what's the fastest way to destroy a democracy?
At least one person is dead and several are injured tonight after protests and counter-protests turned violent.
The great divide in American politics shows no sign of closing.
Many now questioning whether their information is truly safe on the social network.
I think the fastest way to destroy a democracy is to poison the information.
Within America today, there is one issue that supersedes all others, not only as a result of the physical ramifications, but because it simultaneously stifles sincere discussion, agitates hostility, and corrupts our culture. This issue is political polarization, the animosity that emerges from it, and the role that social media has in generating it. It would be disingenuous to suggest that political polarization hasn't existed since our nation's founding. But as a recent Pew Research study suggests, this ideological chasm is only widening. In 1994, only 21% of Republicans and 17% of Democrats held a very unfavorable view of the opposition. By 2016, those percentages had become the majority, 58% and 55% respectively. The sentiments that emerge from such antipathy are increasing as well, developing an inaccurate characterization of the political parties and the people that represent them. So what is the source of this unnecessary partisan division?
It's hard to get good political information given the way the media covers politics these days. I mean, to cover something in 30 seconds or even a couple minutes, that's really hard. Most of the issues we're facing are really complicated.
I think at this point the genie's out of the bottle, right? Like the internet exists, social media exists. I think the problem is when it's used for negative purposes, not to bring us together, but instead to tear us apart.
With the growing importance of social media in politics, what aspects of these platforms contribute to this divide?
The problem that I have with the social media is when it's censored or regulated, and that shouldn't be. The media should present the facts and allow the consumer to make their choices.
One of the problems we have with a lot of the social media and a lot of the news is it encourages people to stay within their own little bubble. And you never see anything again which may challenge any preconceived notion.
With the media, it's become an economic issue. In order for them to sell subscriptions, compete in this rapidly advancing 24-hour news cycle, they have to sensationalize.
The issue goes much further than the design of social media platforms. They are also vulnerable to political consulting companies like Cambridge Analytica, who maliciously steal and manipulate users' data.
Cambridge Analytica sought to identify mental vulnerabilities in voters and worked to exploit them by targeting information designed to activate some of the worst characteristics in people, such as neuroticism, paranoia, and racial biases.
I think protect their data, yes. I mean, that's a huge issue, right? Like, we know Cambridge Analytica as an example. We know that they went after a subset of people. So they went looking for a population for which they could manipulate. And that's a huge deal.
I think if you only see ads that expose you to things that you already like, you never see a contrary viewpoint, it could be really problematic. It could give you a biased understanding of issues, but it also could just totally shut off another viewpoint.
And I always encourage people to do that. See the amount of data they have on you, the things you like, the things you've commented on. From that, you could build a pretty comprehensive profile of a bunch of people, in a sense, to change people's minds.
It's apparent that our culture's continued reliance on social media and the very nature of the platforms themselves has contributed to this political antipathy. So, what are the ramifications? How do we minimize them?
As a way of starting off class, I say, is gridlock good? A lot of them are like super frustrated by the lack of attention on issues that are important to them. And then when they think about it, they're like, maybe that's a reflection of the division that exists in the country, or maybe that leads us to a better outcome down the line. Maybe it slows us down a little bit.
There are things being said that just absolutely turn people off, and there are things being said that absolutely turn people on. As a result, we've got more people engaged, more people listening, more people developing opinions, and that's only going to be better for this country.
There was this notion that the loyal opposition was the loyal opposition sort of thing, right? That, even if people don't agree politically, we all have the same goal. We all in theory are moving in the same direction. And it's only been fairly recently that I feel like that has been, I don't want to say broken, but that has, that notion is fraying some.
I think the most important word in this interview actually is the word listen. You know, I was told one time, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, use them proportionately. And I think as a society, we tend to fail. We tend to fail in doing that.
I think the second thing is the social media environment is when we allow the loudest voices to be dominant in the debate, it leaves, there's no air for any sort of meaningful dialogue.
Despite the ramifications of political polarization, one aspect remained clear throughout my research: the importance of respect, the ability to listen, and the willingness to challenge your own beliefs. As Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. Our culture, more than ever before, has existed solely within the digital realm, a realm that threatens to divide our country along ideological lines. That is why this issue is so significant, because only us, the people, have the power to solve it.